And we're back for another episode of the Lakers Fast Break podcast. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here from Lakers Fast Break, Pop Culture Cosmos, Inside Sports, Fantasy Football, and Game Source. We truly appreciate everyone out there that's all of our shows. And if you can, please give us a 5-star review, just like you're giving high fives to everyone out there because the Lakers won. Plus, if you can like, share, subscribe, follow, or do anything that you can to support us right here at the Lakers Fast Break, Pop Culture Cosmos, Game Source, Inside Sports Fantasy Football, Lakerholics.com, and as Villa Garcia says, third time's a charm, and also our friends at the Hoopheads Podcast Network. It is sincerely appreciated. Yay! The Lakers finally pull out a win and are now 1-2 on the season. Didn't come easy, as Memphis, I think, is going to be a team that's going to surprise a lot of people out there, looking a lot stronger than even what I had thought. Be with a back-to-back, looking for back-to-back LA wins on the road. They won last night with the Clippers, and they almost won tonight, but a strong start to the fourth quarter, a 14-3 run.
This is the new portal go.
A strong 14-3 run, headed up by Carmelo Anthony, and some strong shooting by him, some solid play by Russell Westbrook and the entire roster, and even the guy who has been anointed the next Jerry West by LakerTom, that would be Austin Reeves, very good in his performance as well, as the Lakers squeak out a victory where the last minute seemingly took, I think, almost an hour long in and of itself, with all the fouls and the reviews and the stuff that went on in the back end of that game. But yes, they did pull out a victory, 121-118. V. Garcia says, poor Russ can't get a call to save his life. Yes, that's probably correct. V. Garcia says, so tired of these refs making the game about them as of late, because there was a play where he was going out of bounds. It looked like time had ended, but they gave 0.3 of a second back to Grizzlies, but it was for all for naught. But you know what? The Lakers did manage to pull out the victory. They made their free throws when it counted down the stretch. So a great job by them. They were 53.3% from the three-point area, which has got to please LakerTom, in only 30 attempts. So that's very good sign right there for you. But here today to talk about the game, the great performance by Carmelo Anthony, the solid performance as far as 13 assists, 9 turnovers, however, for Russell Westbrook, and still some poor shooting. But we'll get into why this is a little bit better performance for him, on at least at that end, coming up here in a bit. But LeBron James and Anthony Davis, 19 and 22 respectively, not exactly the greatest performance in the world. But again, the team was picked up by Carmelo Anthony, 10 of 15, 6 of 8 from 3, 28 points overall. Just a great shooting performance from him. But here today to talk about the game is the mastermind behind Lakerholics.com. It is LakerTom. And LakerTom, it wasn't pretty. It was fun to watch. The defense still has issues. Russell Westbrook still has issues. But you know what? As you said, and you've told me, a win is a win.
I think that's something you actually told me. Gerald, a win is a win, because
they did. Okay,
some wins are more important than other wins. You know, this is early in the season though, but we're not complaining.
We're 360 episodes in, LakerTom. So
I didn't realize it, but because we lost the last 4 games in the playoffs last year.
Yes, and we lost the loss.
And
lost
we had a 12-game losing streak.
Yes, we did. Yes.
So
we're off the schneid, as they say, off the schneid.
Yeah, either way, it was good to see a win. I thought they played extremely well in the first half. Man, if there's a clutch client that we don't have on the Lakers, I'd sure like it to be John Morant at some point in time. That kid can play, man.
Yeah, but instead they'll give you Ben Simmons.
Well, I'd take Ben Simmons too. I think you could do a lot with Ben Simmons. I mean, I've always liked that. But listen, great game. Melo, you knew that Melo wasn't going to miss any of his free throws, and he was just deadly from deep. I mean,
yes. And I also want to say, before you continue, Carmelo did pass Moses Malone on the all-time scoring list, so congratulations to him. And yes, it was a vintage Melo performance. he was able to offset any defensive issues that were targeted on his end. I like the fact that they had him playing a lot on Steven Adams and trying to stay with Steven Adams even through the pick, and tried not to have him too much on John Morant. I was really liking the fact that they really did a better job today of hiding Melo on the defensive end.
Yeah, they did, and I think there were a lot of things to really like about the game. I thought that it's by far the best use of rotations that Frank has done over the last 12 games or 11 games, whatever it is, because I thought he did everything perfectly all along the way. He kept Rondo out, kept it at 10 players, gave Bradley a little bit of run. Didn't see much from that.
2 minutes only.
Yeah, I kind of like the 9-man rotation that we're sticking with, and frankly, hey, it's an opportunity for those guys to lock in some playing time and lock in a role, and guys coming back from injury are going to have to earn it in the practice, and man, you don't get many times to practice in a regular season, so it's difficult, and it's the more guys can play. Reeves continuing to play well. I thought that Bazemore played well. Jordan didn't have as good a game as he's had in the first 2 games. And I thought that, we still play better when we're playing small ball.
I love how they threatened that if things don't get better, that the starting lineup is going to change. And then what do they throw out there? The same lineup that they've done before.
Yeah. But you can see that with Steven Adams, and actually Adams at one point, yeah, he's plus 15. He and Bain were the 2 guys in their starting lineup that had really large plus numbers. And again, that always just depends on who you're playing with and how they're doing against the other guys. It's a kind of a rough metric. But I thought that Frank did a good job of the substitutions. I thought that everybody came in and played very well. And I agree with you, that it wasn't a cakewalk, that's for sure. And the Lakers played pretty well. We didn't see a great game from LeBron. It's kind of funny. We got into a discussion at Lakerholics.com. One of the regulars, Mongo, brought up the point that he says that, that AD and LeBron are all of a sudden wanting to just shoot these jump shots so they can lengthen their career. And there's a certain element to it, because for the 3rd game in a row, we shot 33s and we made over half of them. I mean, we're the 6th best 3-point shooting team percentage-wise before tonight, and we shot 55% tonight. And LeBron James is in the top 10 in volume for 3-point shots. So it's an interesting thing. We lost the battle in the paint. We lost the paints in the point. But we won.
Points in the paint.
But we won the 3-point shooting contest, and we won the free throw shooting contest. Not percentage-wise, but in number of free throws that we were able to make. And most importantly, we got to win. It's a lot. You feel a lot better, I'm sure, leaving the locker room tonight 1-2 than if you left it 0-3. We've got some winnable games moving ahead. We made some good progress tonight. I thought it's funny the way that 2 years ago we had them change the 24-second rule so that everything was 14 seconds, and you can immediately see the points go up everywhere because people are getting more shots. It's just more possession for each team, and this season I was just looking at some of the early stats of how many threes people are taking and the scoring and so forth, and it's an offensive game, and just thinking of trying to hold a team with John Morant under 100 points is not going to be easy for anybody.
No, excellent game by him overall. 40 points, 10 assists.
And Desmond Bain, man, I mean, I know that we talked that he was Raphael's pick for the early in the preseason before he started getting so much attention, and that he might end up with the Lakers. That kid looks really good. I mean, that was an impressive defensive play to knock that lob pass away from LeBron. I thought that Monk played pretty well tonight. man, if we can get one out of every 4 games from Melo like this would be a wonderful season. I'd love to see him go out like that and win a championship and be a real contributor, so it's a good sign to see. It's funny when I couldn't believe that Morant missed that last free throw.
Yeah.
Really pretty incredible.
But that was also a very dumb foul by Kent Bazemore.
Yeah, it was.
Put them in there. Yeah.
But that was what that was in a perfect example of why coaches don't want you to do that, because he reached to try to get that foul before he shot. And the problem is that John went through with the shot after it. And it's all part of that motion, and that's the big thing that you don't want to do, because he hit the rim with that shot, even though he had to double clutch it and so forth. And that's how you could lose a game when you're down 3, because they'll get a 4-point play out of the damn thing. So it's, Jared Jackson Jr. looked good too. The Grizzlies they
look a lot better. They've got a lot of young talent on the team. I was kind of concerned with the moves that they made. They didn't know which direction that they were headed. I thought Valanciunas is a little bit better center than Adams, but obviously Adams may be a better fit for them. So we'll see what happens there. Again, they had a very impressive back-to-back performances in LA with a victory, and they almost snuck out with this game. V. Garcia says Melo can contribute if they give him minutes. I've been telling people this for the past 2 games. Well, hold on, V. Yes, you saw the best of Melo today, but the first 2 games, he was exposed for the defensive ineptness that he has. That's one of the reasons why he's no longer in Portland, because of the fact that he and Cantor were the 2 worst defensive players in the NBA, and they were on the court at the same time for much of the season for Portland because of injuries. Now he comes here. He is a defensive liability. That is not changed at his age. What still's there, though, his outside shot is developing to the point where he is now a consistent 40% plus 3-point shooter. He is now shooting the way you've seen him in the Olympics. As I call him, Olympics Melo. This is something that you're seeing consistently now. That's going to keep him in the game because, again, on the defensive end, if you can hide him, like let's say keep him on the center, try to not have him switch onto guards. If you can avoid that, then you're going to go ahead.
It's easier to hide him because he's a front court player, to be honest.
Well, it wasn't easy in the first 2 games. They really targeted him on the first 2 games on those switches. This time he was able to stay with the majority of the time either Jackson, or he stayed predominantly on Adams. That was a very good move by Vogel to make sure
his defense wasn't bad tonight. There weren't any of those instances where we all remember where.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, because he was hid very well. As long as he's able to go ahead and stay in the paint, attached to a man, stay in the paint. Once you get him on the perimeter, it's not a pretty story. And as we've seen the first couple of games, that's an issue. But if you can go ahead and have him avoid that, he can be a very effective player, spotting up on the outside, hitting those threes, giving him a post up every now and then. Okay, I get that, but he's not the post up magician that he once was. But he can still hit you a great from mid range, and he can definitely hit that 3-pointer probably better than anyone else on the Lakers team, outside of hot shooting LeBron, because LeBron's been shooting it hot.
Ever since 4 of 9 tonight. It's not where we expected the volume 3-point shooting to come from, but as long as LeBron continues to do it, and I still feel that I still sort of agree with Frank that I'd like to see Anthony take 5 threes a game too. And Melo can take 10 of 3 as far as I'm concerned, as long as he keeps shooting anywhere near what he's been doing. So it's good, because this is one of the things that we haven't had in the last couple of years, which is all of those promising guys, the Danny Greens and the guys that we signed that come to LA and have a hot reputation for being able to shoot the threes, and they come out here and the bright lights basically dim their 3-point shooting.
As you've said.
And we talked about this before on the podcast, that one of the nice things about having Melo in your back pocket is that those bright lights ain't going to do nothing to him after all of these years of firing the threes.
Yeah.
And when he gets hot, he gets hot. And not the kind of McLemore hot, but the kind of Carmelo Anthony hot. And tonight we saw a perfect example of that. There were so many clutch threes to bring us back within, bring us back into a tie or push us ahead by 3. So that was great to see. And, then there were clutch threes by other people at various points in times. Monk made a big 3, and LeBron hit several big threes. Bazemore hit a big 3 and a shot that I couldn't believe. I was really surprised he even took the shot. And I thought Reeves came in and played extremely well, man. He made a couple of great assists.
Mr. Baby Clutch, Mr. Clutch, the man who you compared to Jerry West.
Huh? Baby logo. There you go. Yeah. No, but it's, and I thought it was a smart move with 3 minutes to go for Frank to pull him out and put Melo in there for the last 3 minutes. It makes total sense to me. So I like the fact that we left Rondo out. I'd leave Rondo and Bradley out, and I'd go with 9 players until we get back from injuries, because this is the first time that we really saw some cohesiveness with respect to the rotations and a feeling that you didn't put LeBron out there with 4 poor defenders or something like that, and make it a real difficult situation. Steve, I'm still a little concerned about being more of a jump shooting team, and I've always had the mentality as a player, even though I was a small player, that the mettle of your game is determined by how few times you settle for jumpers. That's what it really comes down to. And that's one of the things that I loved about Westbrook, when he is playing the kind of game where he's really going downhill and attacking the basket over and over, as opposed to settling for jumpers, settling for jumpers when you're tired and you don't have it anymore. It's always a formula to lose in my mind.
Well, that's something I want to ask you about. And we're back again with the Lakers Fast Break podcast. It's Gerald Glassford along with my good friend, Mr. LakerTom. Please be part of the conversation of the site that he runs, Lakerholics.com. There's a lot of great conversations there right now, and he's going to have some more great articles that he'll talk about coming up at the back end of the show. But LakerTom, let us talk about Russell Westbrook. When you look at it in the box score, it does not look pretty. 5 of 15.
Hey,
hold on.
There's one turnover from a triple double.
I got a point here I'm trying to make here. Just hush for a second, young man.
Okay.
5 out of 15, 1 out of 4 from 3. 13 assists, 13 points, but 9 turnovers. That's not pretty if you look at the box score. But why do I think that he played a little bit more effective game than any of the 3 games so far? It was, like you said, his aggression, the fact that he was going ahead on the defensive end, 4 steals, which is a positive sign there. Again, though, 9 turnovers, that has to be somewhat down. You got to go ahead and cut that down by a lot. 9 turnovers, again, is not.
Some of them were at the type of that. What am I doing with the basketball? Just fumbling the ball over to people.
Yeah, it just some of them just didn't make sense. Why he was what he was doing.
There was a stretch where the Lakers, the ball was like a hot potato. 3 or 4 Lakers just totally fumbled the ball all around and so forth. We're slowly seeing, one of the tough things about a small sample size is you don't have a lot of examples of things to support anything that you're trying to claim that is happening. But we're starting to see more and more samples. I think that without a doubt, one of the major factors in the win tonight and in the Lakers getting off to a good start was the elite passing of Russell Westbrook. He had 10. I think he had 10 assists in the first half.
Yes, 10 assists in the first half, 13 overall.
Right.
Again, he's trying to slice that very thin line on some of those passes. Some of it paid off, some of it didn't. Again, that's something that we're going to have to deal with as time goes on. I understand that he was just short of a triple-double, but
he's a standout guy trying to fit in, and that's always a problem.
That is a problem.
I still think that I still think that what you really want on this team, to be honest, is is the triple double Russell Westbrook. That's the guy you want. Just tone down the shots. You know,
he needs to go. He needs to take the ball to the hoop a lot more. I think that's something. Outside shots are not working.
It's hard because it joined a team where it's hard to do that because they already got LeBron and AD and everybody's schemed up for those two. So when Westbrook comes along, it's like, hey, these Lakers are playing right into our hands. And that's one of the reasons why all of the pundits basically felt it was a bad move by the Lakers. They could have had Buddy Hield and solved the shooting problems. Instead, they've got Russell Westbrook, so they got a third superstar. But on the other hand, they got three superstars. Well, maybe only two now that LeBron has decided he's going to be Steph Curry. But, you know, Russ just, you know, it's hard to go to the basket every single time. And I think that there was a great post made where they were showing these ghost screens from Melo coming up from the dunker spot to come up and set a screen for Westbrook. And the beauty of that type of screen when you're coming up at that angles, and Frank Vogel even talked about the angle business, is that you can't go under a screen like that. You know, I mean, if the guy is coming from straight underneath the basket up to set a screen for Russell Westbrook, how do you go under that? You know, you have to backpedal to go under that screen. And the Lakers been setting screens on the sides too much for Westbrook. And when you set a screen on the side, then that's when the player can slide under it. But I see more and more smaller little things that are coming out that they're doing in the lineups. The double screens using the bigs just so that they won't be down in the dunker spot and crowding the things up. The ghost screens using Melo for screens, putting a pick and pop guy out there on the pick and rolls. All of those types of things are just small pieces that altogether basically are really what's different about this offense. And then I think maybe the most important thing is it does not seem like there is any ill will between Dwight and AD.
Anthony Davis, yeah.
Even though Dwight's minutes seem to be representing the fact that he didn't go back into the game after he had the incident the other night, and he didn't go back into he only played a few minutes in this game.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, Frank is slowly, you know, and I'll give Frank a hall pass, if you will, because it is difficult when you look at who we've got left after these four guys have been injured, and all four of them looking like it's, you know, 2 to 4 weeks, 2 to 6 or 8 weeks, depending on Ariza, before they can get back. And that really hurt us because we end up being either too big or too small. We're paying too much of the Jordan and DeAndre thing, or we're playing too much of, you know, of smaller guys that are getting killed on defense. We're missing the 6'8" Ariza and probably another 6'8" guy that we should have had at some point in time and probably will end up having to trade for in order to get some balance on the roster. But it's really hard because you end up you have to figure out, how can I get Monk in there? How can I get Melo in there for 2 shifts, you know? And like you said, Gerald, how can we handle the defense when we got Monk and Melo and, you know, and then maybe you've got, you know, Bradley in there and Jordan had that one good block, but he just doesn't get off of the ground when people are dunking on him inside. You know, he's lost that quickness that he used to have when he was part of Lob City. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see. We've got games Tuesday and Wednesday, so we got a little mini road trip, I guess. And let's see if we can continue to do it. But I liked what I saw tonight. It was a fun game. I thought that the Grizzlies made it really competitive, you know. And I don't know, you know, this is one of the nice things about this time of the year for me, in that there's a lot of teams that I would like to watch and a lot of games. You almost get a feeling that, yeah, everybody starts off 0-0 and it's nice and fresh. And we've seen some upsets already that would surprise you. I mean, the Grizzlies going in and taking care of the Clippers the other night, that was a shock to me.
We have the same record as the Brooklyn Nets, the favorite Brooklyn Nets right now at 1-2, who got shocked at home tonight against Charlotte. So there you go.
And they were lucky to pull that game out against Philadelphia.
Yeah, Doc Rivers coaching. Doc
That
Rivers
is
coaching helped them to a victory. I mean,
sure.
Brooklyn to a victory.
Yeah, you notice that both coaches in the last minute used up their challenges tonight. That was definitely no holding back there. Good example there.
V Garcia is saying with Jared Dudley, we'd be 3-0 right now. Unfortunately, no, we'd be 0-3. And the fact his help in the coaching staff for Dallas has led them to a scintillating record of their own. Oh, wait, no, they got killed in Atlanta. I'm sorry. Forgot to say that. Yeah. But they're 1-1, a scintillating record. I'm sure he's done a great part of that. And of course, Mr. Jared Dudley right now. I miss him? No, I don't miss him, V Garcia. I miss him like I miss a hangnail. How about that? There you go. But before we head on out, my friend, it is the Lakers Fast Break. If you have any questions for us, at Lakers Fast Break on Twitter, LakersFastBreak@yahoo.com. He is at LakerTom on Twitter. Tom, I know you're working on a lot of great things for Lakerholics.com. There was a lot of great conversation. My email was going crazy over the weekend because a lot of people were getting very nervous. And you can tell when everybody starts to get chatty is when the Lakers are not always doing so great because everybody gets a little bit more vocal. So tell us what's going on that you've got upcoming at Lakerholics.com.
Well, I think it's going to be interesting to see as we move through this little road trip. Frank usually likes to do things in organized bunches, like these 3 games as a homestand. We're going to start Jordan all 3 games. I happen to have a feeling that we're going to make a change when we go on the road. And I think that he's going to move Melo into the starting lineup. And I think that's the thing. I think that it's going to be AD at the 5, Melo at the 4, LeBron at the 3, and Bazemore and Russ making out the lineup. And I think that we could very well even see. And part of this is that we've been almost experimenting totally with personnel ever since the season started. We haven't had any stability at all. We've been running 11-man rotations, even tonight a 10-man rotation. And that's really the only reason we could even run just a 10-man rotation is because we got 4 rotation players out of guys that you'd expect to be part of the rotation. But it's hard to do that, man. It's hard for everybody to get into a rhythm, to have enough minutes where they really can feel like they can pass up a shot for a better pass and don't feel such pressure that if I don't do anything, I'm going to lose my minutes. But it makes sense to cut the rotation down to 9 players so that we can play a higher quality of basketball all the way around and start to develop. I mean, the whole regular season is about developing those habits so that when you go into the playoffs, not only are you playing at your peak basketball, but you already figured out because you've played all of these other teams and you know what you have to do to beat them. You know what things work, what things didn't work. And you basically accumulate all of these good habits and all of these strategies during the year, and you go into the playoffs and you execute them. So, I think the team, after the first 2 games, I think human nature, just like everybody else, I sort of expanded how long I thought it would take until we pulled everything together and really started to play well. Right now, I'm thinking maybe 10 games. I think by the time we play 10 games, we'll be in good shape. I would hope that we would finish 7-3 or something like that.
That's what I want to ask you before we head on out, my friend. Here's the upcoming schedule, including something I've never seen before outside of playoffs. I'll tell you why.
Home and away.
Hold on. Let me hear you this. Let me tell you this. At San Antonio, which is V Garcia's favorite team, and I'm joking on that, and V knows I am. He cannot stand San Antonio, and he lives in San Antonio. At Oklahoma City.
Is he a big Pops fan?
Well, no, apparently not. But at San Antonio, at OKC versus Cleveland at home. Then you've got back-to-back home games against the same time. Yeah, I don't understand that scheduling snafu, but at Houston. Houston's coming to the Staples Center twice in a row. I've never seen that before during the regular season, unless it's something funky.
Maybe it's
in the
some part of
schedule.
that Major League Baseball scheduling that they're going to do to cut down on
Maybe
travel.
because of World Series and whatnot.
Yeah.
Maybe, but I've never
What'd you
seen
think?
that this early
One
in the
trip to
season.
LA for,
I've never seen that early in the season. But again, it's
I
at
kind
San
of like that. I liked it when they were doing that before.
But at San Antonio, at OKC, Cleveland's coming home to Staples Center. Houston back-to-back games at the Staples Center. And then also OKC ends it up on November the 4th at the Staples Center. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games right there against very winnable teams, against 3 of the teams that are predicted to be in the bottom and lower echelon
You might
of
be
the
able to
Western
finish
Conference.
8-2.
Yeah, so that's what I wanted to ask
You
you.
don't have an Admiral Akbar mistake happening along the way.
Oh, and V. Garcia says he likes Pop, but he does not like the Spurs. Want to give a big shout out to Rosalio. Let's go Lakers, new viewer. We truly appreciate you doing so. Cannot thank you enough for watching us right here at the Lakers Fast Break. Yes, great victory for the Lakers indeed, 121-118. V. Garcia does like Pop, but he does not like the Spurs. But my friend, it's been a great episode. I cannot thank you enough. We're in good spirits. Although I'll tell you what, the last episode people need to check out because that was one of our funniest episodes ever. I was turning 3 different shades of red on my face. If you either watch it on YouTube, watch it on Facebook, or you actually listen to it, you actually hear me.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, you could hear me crying of laughter from our last episode. That was a lot of fun. But Laker Tom, any last thoughts on the game before we head on out?
It's still going to be a process of getting through this whole thing. And I think it's been exacerbated greatly by the injuries that we've had, because the injuries came in the area of the roster that we were the weakest in, which is the wings. We lost basically with THT and Ariza, two of our 3 or 4 wings that we've got on the team. So what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So hopefully this will show that what things we need to do. We'll have to play a lot of teams with more guards than wings. That's going to be tough against teams like the Clippers once we get to them. Hopefully by the time that happens, we'll get Ariza back and we'll get DHT back, and they'll really solidify the defense and make it a lot stronger. So I'm really encouraged. I think that there's a good chance that by the time we finish the 10-game mark that this team could really start to be rolling. And I think LeBron James since he's been a Laker, we've won 75% of our games. So I don't think it's a big stretch to say in 75 games, 75% of the games is like 60 games to win 60 games out of 80. So I think
it's going down for you, my friend.
No, I'm just saying that's 75%. I think that's what we've done the last 2 years in the regular season. And I think that this year we can even do better than that. I think that we have a chance to get to 65 to 70 wins, 67 and a half, as you'd like to say, Gerald.
There, 67 and a half indeed. Yes, V. Garcia has lowered it to 64 3/4. V, I'm concerned your number is going down ever so slightly every time we talk about it, but okay, no worries right there for you. But V. Garcia, Rosalio Dorado, and also, of course, our good friend Albert Toquero, cannot thank you enough for the thumbs up. Cannot thank you enough for joining us, and everybody else that joined us on the podcast as well. We will be back Tuesday night. That's after the game on Tuesday night. The game is at 5:30 as far as on Tuesday. That's at San Antonio. So we'll be back after we go ahead and check out the game between V. Garcia's not so favorite team, the San Antonio Spurs, and the Lakers. So we'll go ahead and hopefully check out a win for the Lakers. Hopefully we can get 2 in a row.
Got to start a win streak. This is a win streak.
It's got to start that win streak now. If you do not come out of this at least 5-1, I have got concerns. I have really got concerns. So that's all I'll say with that. But I'm hopeful. I'm going to stay positive. And on Tuesday night, I expect with Laker Tom to be talking about another Lakers victory as we get back on the right track. The ship is righted after, like Laker Tom says, 12 straight losses. The team is now going ahead in the right direction. V. Garcia says, boo, San Antonio. But once again, it is the Lakers 121-118 over the Memphis Grizzlies. Cannot thank you again enough for everyone out there that watched, that listened, and goes ahead and contacts us in any way, shape, or form. As far as here at the Lakers Fast Break, we truly appreciate you taking the time to do so. V. Garcia, last thing before he heads on out, I wanted to go to the game so I could take a sign saying, everyone log into the Lakers Fast Break after this. Oh, we love you. We love you, V. We got nothing but love for you, V. We just would appreciate everyone out there checking us out after the game. But we will be. Yeah, tickets too expensive. Yeah, that's true. Try Ticketmaster. That's definitely expensive. I know that. But I'll tell you what, it's great having you aboard once again. We will be back on Tuesday after the game against San Antonio right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. Thank you so much, V. All the best, my friend.